What if you moved to a haunted house and were warned that it was the abode of a ghost who had lived there for the past 300 years? What if chains rattled, blood appeared, and footsteps echoed in the corridors when the clock struck 12? Your natural reaction would be to scream your lungs out, right? But instead of raising a cry, what if the family simply shrugged, literally, as those mishappenings were mere inconveniences that could be managed? What an attitude, right? And the ghost was the one who ended up scared. Oscar Wilde's The Canterville Ghost is not a typical horror story. It's funny, clever, emotional, and quietly deep. Let's talk about why this short story still works so powerfully today. I am Charlotte Jimmy, and this is my channel where I talk about books, stories, and the magic they leave behind. The story begins when the Otis family from America buys an old English mansion called Canterville Chase. They are warned again and again that the house is haunted by the ghost of Sir Simon de Canterville, a man who has terrified people for centuries. Naturally, everyone expects screams, fear, and chaos, but the Otis family reacts in a completely unexpected way. When the ghost appears with his chains, they respond with logic instead of fear. When strange marks appear, they treat them like housekeeping problems, not supernatural signs. Every traditional trick of horror fails. Slowly, the story turns upside down. Instead of humans being frightened by the ghost begins to feel confused, ignored, and powerless. What starts as a comedy slowly reveals something deeper. There is more to this ghost than just scares and shadows. A quiet emotional shift happens when one member of the family begins to see the ghost differently. And from that point, the story becomes less about fear and more about something far more human. And that's all you need to know to enjoy it without spoilers. One of the biggest themes of the story is the clash between Old England and modern America. The ghost represents old traditions, fear, pride, and superstition. The Otis family represents modern thinking, confidence, logic, and practicality. Oscar Wilde uses humor to show how fear loses its power when people stop believing in it blindly. The story asks an interesting question. What happens when fear is no longer respected? By turning a terrifying ghost into a helpless figure, Wilde shows that fear survives only when we give it power. As the story progresses, we begin to understand that the ghost is not just frightening, he's deeply lonely. Wilde reminds us that sometimes behind loud behavior or scary appearances, there is pain and isolation. While many characters laugh at the ghost, one character chooses to listen instead of judge. This introduces the most important theme of the story. Kindness can heal what fear cannot. Oscar Wilde makes it clear that understanding and compassion can change lives, sometimes even beyond life itself. It is a short story, of course, but it has layers, and unraveling it is both a pleasure and a fine reading experience.